Good Thursday, neighbors. Let's see how the audio works out on this. Hope everyone's well. Been watching, observing nuclear power, nuclear sales, nuclear work, bit of nuclear weapons. Thought I'd catch y'all up on what's going on. I've got a Google News search for nuclear power, and it comes up with nuclear articles, so let's talk about them. First one, top of the list, ex-CEO who oversaw doomed nuclear project to be sentenced. This is a Scania executive that basically lied about the status of a project. Hundreds of millions of dollars in trouble and lying to shareholders about it. All financial stuff, all in the build phase. This is where these projects are failing miserably because of the costs inherent in building nuclear plants. So he has a chance of going to jail for 2 years. But that's a tip of the iceberg case. If this was the off chance, the off incident, but Georgia and the Vogtle plant has these same stories of massive cost overruns. These are big projects. Ohio's senators being bought by the nuclear industry. That case is still ongoing and worth looking at. And that's just one more example of interference in politics with the money stolen from ratepayers for electricity. Remember, this was going to be free. All you old folks should remember this. That was part of the sales pitch. This electricity is going to be free, but it's not. Next article. I-Team, concrete cracking at Seabrook Nuclear Power Plant building. Is that bad concrete? Or is it something called embrittlement caused by the materials in the air around them? Only science can answer those questions, or a good engineering house. Can nuclear fusion put the brakes on climate change? Maybe. Research it. Be real. And since we're paying for that research, us, taxpayers, we own a piece of that. It should be free for us, right? Why California is shutting down its last nuclear plant. Could thorium power the next generation of nuclear reactors? SMR's ideal fit for Australian market report finds. Nuclear policies. This is not policies, this is politics. These people are buying people. You bring in hundreds of $1 million investment into an area. With that investment are 100 very well-paying jobs for professionals to run that equipment and manage it and keep it going. And then there's all the venture capitalists that have to make their money off of it, so it never ends up being free, does it? So the Australian market, the Australians are being sold this stuff. The sales pitches aren't going so well in the Americas, so they've got to take it overseas, and they are. Nuclear gains ground in Europe's plan to phase out gas. Climate change, Arctic's unknown viruses, and nuclear waste. Nuclear waste up in the Arctic, who knew? Nuclear energy could bridge the energy transition gap. Well, that's a bunch of bullshit. We were told that natural gas and fracking was to bridge the energy gap until we got to something better, and nuclear isn't it. Energy faces federal fine for violations at its nuclear plant near St. Francisville. Gee, go figure. $150,000 fine against Entergy for 3 violations related to its River Bend nuclear station. U Battery unveils full-scale SMR mock-up. Can nuclear replace coal? Iran nears an atomic milestone. Now, Iran's shtick for going nuclear for this nuclear is they just want to sell nuclear fuel. So as long as these boys are out here selling their nuclear power plants, Iran has every right to sell their nuclear fuel to them. Long-term contracts worth good money. China's developing thorium. Top U.S. energy official. They've been sold a bill of goods. There's no balance in this. They're talking about the whiz-bang things we can do with nuclear, but they are not talking about the mining, the waste, the tailings, the management. Oh, the other side of that is the disposal. I haven't seen an article on disposal yet come on this feed, but it's there. I just haven't gone down far enough. Uranium rally. IAEA event showcases progress, innovations in nuclear hydrogen for a clean energy transition. Ooh-wee! And it's going to be free, I bet. With no place to store it. The waste. The life cycle is not right here. Russia could fuel U.S. nuclear power plants without a political fix. Oh, gee, I thought this was capitalism and business. TVA gives up construction permit for nuclear plant. That's a pretty big one. But what's going to happen is you're going to see a proposal for an SMR to go in its place. Maybe. We'll see if TVA has learned anything. But so the nuclear industry is out here. They're pushing, selling this stuff. There's countries in the Middle East that have these nuclear weapons we call commercial nuclear reactors sitting out in the deserts. Boiling water. Boiling water. Oh, well. So all these new nuclear ideas, I go back to the 1960s and 1970s, these small modular, there is nothing new in these things. The Department of Energy, and who is it that manages small modular reactors? The Army Corps of Engineers has managed all small modular reactors for non-military use, which includes a few test pilot projects across the globe that failed miserably. I already mentioned there's an article about nuclear waste in the Arctic. Nuclear waste. And yet, they're selling us more. So, pieces out. Be good. There's many more pages of these articles. No balance. Politicians being bought. Executive and presidential levels. The ears bent, the money's too much. Good luck. Vote anyway.